Welcome to this series on how to use shared reading to build language and early literacy skills. In this presentation, we will be discussing how you can build children's understanding of speech sounds at home using shared storybook reading. Phonological awareness is a child's awareness of the sounds in their language or speech. When we produce speech, we are linking segments of sounds together. Phonological awareness is our awareness of these segments. It is the ability to think about the sounds in a word separate from the meaning of the word. For example, when asked what rhymes with pig, a child has to think about the sounds in the word pig rather than the meaning of the word pig. Before we begin, here are some terms you will need to know. A syllable is a part of a word and is a sequence of sounds. A syllable must have at least one vowel. Words may be one syllable in length, like cat, mill, and ten, or several syllables in length, like caterpillar, million, and tennis. Rhyming words are words that have the same sounds at the end. For example, make and rake, magic and tragic. Rhyming words may have the same spelling, but they may also have different spellings, such as sea and tree. A phoneme is the smallest meaningful unit of sound in speech. Phonemes include both vowels, the E in beat, A in bat, O in boat, and consonants, K in cat, M in man, and Ch in match. Phonological awareness is one of the most important areas of literacy development for young children because it has a causal relationship with later reading skills. Children's awareness of different sound units within spoken language leads to children understanding the alphabetic principle, in which sounds are mapped onto letters. In turn, an understanding of the alphabetic principle leads children to develop their decoding and word reading skills. You can help children build phonological awareness in almost any setting. You simply need to draw children's attention to the sounds that make up sentences, words, or syllables. You can say and sing nursery rhymes. Rhyme is a feature of most languages, so share and enjoy nursery rhymes at home as well. Playing I Spy is a great way to build phonological awareness, or playing sound games while walking to or from different rooms at school. Have children look to see if they can see things that rhyme, things that start with the same sound, or things that end with the same sound. You could say, let's look for things we see that rhyme with bag. Or, let's look for things that start with the D sound. Or, let's look for things that end with a P sound. You can also build children's phonological knowledge whenever they're engaged in shared reading of a storybook. Shared reading is the interaction that occurs between an adult and a child when reading or looking at a book. Shared book reading is not intended to teach children to read. It is about building children's spoken language and early literacy skills to prepare them to engage with reading instruction. Storybook reading provides wonderful opportunities for children to hear and learn about sounds. Here are some tips for shared reading. Repeated reading of storybooks helps children to develop their language and literacy. Try to read each new storybook at least 4 times over a few weeks. If a child has a language difficulty or language disorder, manipulative books such as Lift the Flap books, as well as books with less text and shorter sentences, may increase their engagement and enjoyment of shared reading experiences. And remember, you don't have to read the exact words in the book. Make the sentences shorter and use easier to understand language if this helps the child to engage. When building children's phonological knowledge through shared reading, talk about rhyme. Choose a storybook that has rhyming words. As you read the book, draw their attention to words that rhyme. You might say, for example, listen, P, B. Those words rhyme. P and B sound the same at the end. Watch my mouth. See how my mouth does the same thing at the end. Can you think of some other words that rhyme with P? Or you might pause during reading and say, clock, sock. Do those words rhyme? Does my mouth do the same thing at the end? Or you might say, listen to these words. Log, juice. Log and juice do not sound the same at the end. See how my mouth is different? Log and juice do not rhyme. When you're reading a book to children, talk about syllables. You could say, it can be fun to listen for the parts of words. Words can be broken into parts called syllables. A syllable is made up of sounds and must have at least one vowel. Today, we're going to listen for syllables in words. Some words have a lot of syllables, like the word delighted. You might clap for each syllable in this word, delighted. Be sure to clap as you say each syllable in the word, not before or after. Some words have only one syllable, like the word hill. So you would clap for the one syllable in the word. And the word up. Clap for the one syllable in the word. Choose some words from your storybook and have fun clapping the syllables in each word. When reading a book to children, you can segment and blend syllables in words. You could segment, pull apart, and blend, put back together, syllables in words. Choose some words from your storybook. You could say, I'm going to say the syllables or parts of a word. See if you can blend the syllables together and tell me the whole word. Say each word syllable by syllable. For example, you might say, Sunday, wonderful, billabong. After you say each word and your children have had the opportunity to say what it is, model the correct answer. You might say, I said Sunday. The word is Sunday. I put the parts of the word together. Or you could say, listen, I'm going to say some words from today's storybook. See if you can tell me the first, middle, or last syllable in the word. So you might say, for example, what's the first syllable in the word bathtub? What's the middle syllable in the word tomato? Or, what's the last syllable in the word honey? When reading a book to children, talk about phonemes or sounds at the beginning, middle, and end of words. You could say, today we are going to listen to the first sound in a word. Most words are made up of many sounds. See if you can hear the first sounds in these words. During reading, stop occasionally and ask children to identify words beginning with the same first sound, as in, listen to see if you can hear two words that start with the sh sound. Rasto the shearer had a sheepdog called Brute. What word started with the sh sound? Can you think of another word that starts with the sh sound? Or you might pause during reading and say, for example, This is the letter B. It makes the sound B. The word billabong starts with the B sound. Let's keep reading and listen for other words that start with the B sound. As you read, have children listen and look for words that start with the sound you choose. Talk about phonemes or sounds at the beginning, middle, and end of words. After reading your storybook, you might say, "Listen carefully. I'm going to say some words from our book. When I say the word, I want you to tell me the last sound you hear, the sound at the end of the word." Or you could say, "This time, I want you to listen very carefully and tell me what sound you hear in the middle of these words." Now, we're going to segment, pull apart, and blend, put back together, sounds in words. So you could choose some words from the storybook you have just shared with the children. Say, "Today we're going to play a game with some of the words from our story. You'll have to listen carefully because I'm going to segment the words into sounds and you'll have to put them back together to tell me the word." Here are some examples. For 2 sounds, you might say ow, t, out. 3 sounds, b, e, ch, beach. 4 sounds, f, l, o, t, float. When reading a book to children, we can also manipulate sounds in words. After reading your story, you could say, "Today we're going to use some of the words from our book to do a sound swap. Let's say rat. Say it together, rat. Now let's change the to a k. What's our new word?" Remember, it's important to say sounds and not letter names for this activity. Or you could say, "Before we start reading, we're going to play a game with some of the words we will hear in our story. Listen and I'll tell you what to do." An example is to place 3 cups in a row in front of the child. You might say the word cup, for example. Then stretch the word into its individual sounds. K, a, p. As you say each sound, drop a counter into a cup, working from your child's left to right. After saying each of the sounds, have your child blend the sounds to say the whole word. Have fun and enjoy building phonological knowledge in your classroom through shared book reading.